First of all, this video is totally optional. You're not going to be tested on it or anything. I just thought it was kind of neat, and I wanted to share this information. If you don't care, shut it off, go about your life. What I wanted to talk about is why do we have this formula pi r squared? I don't know who came up with it. There's a whole lot of history out there I just don't know about. But why pi r squared? Where did that come from? And without getting into too much about pi and when it was discovered, who it was discovered by, and kind of what it is. If you take the circumference around a circle and you divide it by the distance across, right? Circumference is all the way around and diameter is across the middle here. If you take the circumference of any circle and you divide it by the distance across the center, pi keeps coming up, 3.14159, infinitely long, right? I know about this much of it. So ancient Greeks figured this out a long time ago. They started using it, whatever. But the area formula I think is kind of cool. And I had somebody explain this to me one time. I can't remember if it was in high school or one of my college classes. Why the 3.14 times the radius squared? Well, what happens is I've got these two squares here, right? I've got one square that is slightly larger than the circle and one square that is slightly smaller than the circle. What happens is if I worked with this length here being r, a little bit of algebra, and I'll kind of save you the boring details. The big square, the area of the big square winds up being 4r squared. And the small square winds up being 2r squared. Okay? And again, I'm kind of skipping over some of the algebra and just kind of pointing out what's going on here. Well, the actual circle in the middle winds up being in between 2 and 4, which happens to be pi. Okay, pi has a value slightly larger than 3, therefore it's between 2 and 4. I just thought that was kind of a real brief kind of how it fits into the grand scheme of things. So this area, the bigger square is 4r squared, the smaller square is 2r squared, and somewhere in between is the circle. Smarter people than me have figured it out, pi r squared. Thought it was kind of neat.